Any and every form of dependency is death. And what I want to tell you, my beautiful friend, is that you can't depend on anything or anyone emotionally, especially, but we also cannot afford to depend on others financially. And we cannot depend on them spiritually, nor can we depend on anyone else sexually. And we certainly cannot depend on others professionally. That's right, beautiful. For you to truly become a powerful woman, a magnetic woman, a woman who has control of her own life in her hands, you can't feel like you only exist if something exists in your life. And I want to give you a very important warning, okay? Actually, I want to ask you a question. If in your life you are the kind of person who says, wow, I only live if so-and-so is with me. Wow, I'll only be happy if a certain person marries me. I rely completely and wholeheartedly upon my God for me to be a truly joyful and fulfilled woman. Beautiful, even if you put your religious belief, okay, as a form of dependence, as the pillar that supports you, I'm telling you that even then you are acting the wrong way. And I'm being very honest with you, okay, beautiful? Because look, I know that right now a lot of people are going to get really upset. Wow, Vanessa, but God above all, but what sustains my life is my faith. I'm giving you my point of view. I'm not telling you what you should or shouldn't do with your life. What I'm telling you is what I use in my own life and what made me become this strong woman. Because let me tell you something, my friend. Believing in God, respecting, valuing, knowing that there is a higher consciousness in this world has nothing to do with thinking that without it you won't have a life. After all, this unexplainable thing, this intangible spiritual plane, the last thing it would ever want on this planet is people depending on its very existence. Beautiful, let me tell you something. The way I see it, okay, the divine plan. I wasn't even supposed to be talking about the divine plan, but anyway, this video ended up going in that direction, so that's what I'm going to talk about. But even this divine plan, I want you to understand that in my view, this divine plan doesn't even want you to fear it, doesn't want you to be afraid of it, doesn't want you to love it above all things. No, you don't get it, my dear friend, that for a being, for something inexplicable, which is certainly much greater than anything we can imagine, a reductionist and egocentric way of thinking just doesn't apply to it. Because we, as human beings, we want to be loved above all things, above everything and everyone. We, as human beings, we want people to respect us. We don't want people to speak our name in vain. We want, my dear friend, for people to be afraid of us. But let's be honest, we are human. Do you really think, my friend, that the divine plan has an ego? I don't think so. I think that's something so far removed from what the divine plan truly is that it's not for us to be dependent on it. And it's not up to him, no. And it's not his need or his concern, or else he wouldn't be, in my view, looking and thinking, wow, Vanessa isn't afraid of me. Wow, Vanessa isn't loving me above all things. Oh my God, Vanessa just spoke my name in vain. Oh my. I just can't imagine it. Therefore, I put myself in a position of not depending and of understanding that this divine something also does not want my dependence because it wants me to be a complete being. And a complete being is a co-creator of their own existence. It is very likely, from what I see as logical and meaningful, that this divine plan wants me one day to create something just as divine and to be as divine as they are. From the image to the likeness. So beautiful, I'm absolutely certain that it doesn't want people depending on anything. Because can I tell you something? For you to be a co-creator of your life, you need to have that divine part alive within you. And the divine part within you makes decisions. The divine part within you co-creates, and as the divine part grows, it manifests and expands. So, my friend, there's no need to be afraid of blaming yourself, feeling fear, punishment, or getting stressed out because you think you have to depend on something. Because we don't need to, we shouldn't, and we can't depend on anything or anyone. And if we can't and shouldn't have emotional or spiritual dependence on a religion, an institution, or even something divine, then what can we say, my friend, about depending on a man? What about depending on another person? Do you really think, my beautiful friend, that God wants you to be dependent on a man if he doesn't want him to be dependent on you? Because you have to understand something with me. Every parent, in their great wisdom of raising a healthy individual, does not want a dependent child. They want a child who will follow their own path with responsibility, with love, with wisdom, with discernment, with the power to make decisions, to co-create, and not depend on that father or mother. So a human father and mother, human, okay? They want a child like that, so what about a divine being? Van, what does this have to do with what you teach about self-esteem and relationships? It has everything to do with it, right, my friend? It has absolutely everything to do with it, because we need to understand that dependency will always lead us to an internal and emotional death where we will not be grounded among ourselves, where we will not be grounded within ourselves. Do you understand something, my friend? If something leaves and you depend on what is left, it's as if your world, you would also come to an end, as if you would no longer live, or as if you would no longer expand in a divine way as well. So, my friend, for the love of yourself, for a belief in something much greater than what you can become, not just in this fraction of a second that we live here, but in a much bigger whole, be the manifestation of God in your life without depending on anything. Because look, God doesn't depend on anything. If he wants you to one day be his image and likeness, do you really think he would want you to depend on anything, my friend? No. So I'm telling you, any and every man in your life is replaceable. Men are like fruit on trees, and not everything in this life is about dick. So, gorgeous. Don't go thinking that just because you don't have a certain man in your life is gonna fall apart, because it won't. That's an imaginary dragon you create in your mind, thinking you can only do it, you can only go on, and that it has to be him. It's not the universe telling you that. The universe would never tell you that. Those are beliefs you've implanted in yourself. That little human chip of ours, right? That loves to lay down rules that are unfounded, precisely to control others. I'm Vanessa de Oliveira, in case you don't know me. I'm a woman who helps other women become emotionally independent, deal better with men, and have intelligence in relationships. And now I invite you, beautiful, to become a student in my course, Magnetic Woman, 30 Days to Transform Your Life. Because if this video made sense to you, my course, my friend, will be a real mind opener. Because you'll stop being dependent, afraid, or guilty, and you'll start becoming the co-creator of your own life. Men, in fact, will start to find you extremely much more interesting from the perspective of a woman. And you won't limit yourself anymore, my friend, nor will you let these beliefs get in the way of your life's full potential. So you're going to click on the link or the button below this video, and you're going to sign up for this course. And you still have the option to choose along with the course, which can be yours forever if you want. You also have the chance to spend 30 days with me in the Magnetic Woman Club, where you'll tell me your story in detail. I will analyze your story from the perspective of my own life experience, from the way I see the world. And I will tell you what I think about your story, about the man you're involved with, and about your self-esteem. I can give you, my beautiful friend, a new perspective on a story that you might believe is hopeless, or that no longer makes sense to you, or that feels like a problem in your life. I've already helped more than 100,000 women, and I want to help you make that big turnaround. So do this. Click on the link or the button below this video and sign up right now. You can pay in 12 installments. The payments are extremely affordable, and you'll also receive 2 other courses as a bonus. Click on the link or the button and find out right now which 2 courses you'll receive when you enroll in the Magnetic Woman course, 30 Days to Transform Your Life.